Dear soul, take a deep breath and allow yourself to be still for a moment. The angels are very close to you right now. They are gently surrounding your heart because heaven has something special to tell you. Something sacred was revealed this Sunday. Something that reached the human world but began in the heavens. You might not have heard your name mentioned, but your spirit was felt. Someone spoke about your smile, and their words carried more meaning than they realized. What they said wasn't just a compliment. It was a confession of how deeply you had touched their heart. Heaven allowed this truth to come forward now because your soul is ready to receive it. It wasn't an accident or a coincidence. It was part of a divine plan meant to remind you of who you are and how much light you have brought into the lives of others, even without trying. Your smile, beloved, is not just a part of your face. It is a piece of your soul. It is a light that has quietly guided people through dark moments without you even knowing. The one who spoke about it this Sunday had once been silent for too long. They had feelings they didn't know how to express, emotions they had buried out of fear or confusion. But something inside them changed recently, perhaps a memory, a longing, or simply the absence of your light, and it pushed them to finally speak. What they said revealed more than admiration. It revealed recognition. They said that your smile made them feel safe, that it reminded them that goodness still exists in the world. They said it was the only thing that ever made them feel understood without words. Heaven listened to those words and smiled because truth had finally found a way to reach you. The angels want you to know that heaven didn't let this truth surface to hurt you or stir up old wounds. It came forward to heal you. For a long time, you have been walking quietly, feeling unseen, and believing that your gentleness had gone unnoticed. You've worn silence like armor, thinking maybe no one really saw your softness or the beauty of your quiet strength. But heaven has seen everything. The angels have watched you smile through pain, forgive when you weren't asked to, and offer kindness in moments when you were the one who needed comfort. They could no longer allow you to keep believing that your light had gone unnoticed. So they allowed this truth, a small whisper about your smile, to find its way to you, not through confrontation, but through a gentle echo that would touch your heart in the way only divine timing can. You might wonder why you didn't hear those words directly from the person who said them. You may question why they came through someone else, or why it had to be revealed indirectly. But the angels explain that sometimes heaven speaks through others because the human heart still holds fear. If that person had spoken to you directly, you might have felt too exposed, too unsure, or even too guarded to receive their truth. So heaven chose a softer way. It allowed their confession to travel gently through another soul so that you could hear it with peace instead of confusion. This was never about gossip or coincidence. It was divine orchestration, a heavenly way to show you that you are seen, valued, and remembered. This Sunday, the person who spoke didn't plan to. Their words slipped out like light escaping through a crack in the clouds. They said your smile was unlike any other, that it carried calmness, grace, and sincerity. They said it was honest, pure, and impossible to forget. They didn't mean to reveal something sacred, but their heart couldn't hold it in any longer. Heaven smiled, for that confession carried more truth than they realized. It wasn't about appearance. It was about energy. They had finally seen you the way heaven has always seen you, as light, as warmth, as a living reflection of divine love. Now, dear child, heaven asks you not to dismiss this as a small or random moment. It was a spiritual sign. You are rising in the hearts of others, not as a memory that fades, but as a soul who left an eternal impression. You may think your quiet love went unnoticed, or your tenderness was mistaken for weakness. But the angels remind you that silence never means absence. Your love was planted like a seed in people's hearts, and now those seeds are beginning to bloom. The one who spoke of you this Sunday is just the first of many who are beginning to remember the way your light touched them. You are entering a new season, a season of being seen, remembered, and cherished for the quiet beauty you've always carried. You never needed to raise your voice or fight to be valued. Your smile alone spoke volumes. It carried healing, peace, and truth without needing to demand attention. That is your gift. You awaken love in others simply by being yourself. You help people believe again, even when you are unaware of it. Heaven asks you to hold this moment close. Don't brush it aside or call it insignificant. This was a divine confirmation. You are not invisible. Your light has been noticed and felt deeply. Even when you walk away, your presence remains. Heaven allowed this revelation to come a day early because divine timing always works ahead of us. The angels prepare the ground before the rain falls. They stir hearts before reconciliation arrives. What happened this Sunday was only the beginning. The one who spoke of your smile has opened a gate they didn't even realize existed. Their heart has softened, and something within them is beginning to heal. Heaven is working through them to bring deeper truth into the light. The next time you hear words about yourself, they may come directly, with sincerity and emotion. When that day comes, Heaven asks you to receive them with the same grace you've always shown, without doubt, without fear, but with love and peace. You may not see it yet, but you are entering a sacred cycle of return. Everything you gave selflessly, the kindness, the compassion, the patience, the love, will now begin to come back to you. You have spent years pouring light into others, and heaven has kept record of every act, every smile, every tear you hid behind strength. Nothing has been forgotten. The love you gave in silence is now echoing back through divine timing. What happened this Sunday was the first sign of restoration. The angels say that those who once took your light for granted are now awakening to its loss. The absence of your energy is teaching them what your presence truly meant. This awakening will continue. The truth about your love will ripple outward, revealing how deeply you changed lives simply by being yourself. Heaven knows you have carried deep pain. You have smiled through heartbreak, betrayal, and loneliness. You have shown warmth even when your own heart was cold with grief. You have offered light to those in darkness and walked away unseen. But the angels assure you, nothing was in vain. Every act of love planted divine seeds in human hearts. This Sunday, one of those seeds bloomed into words. The person who spoke about your smile didn't just remember you. They remembered the way you made them feel safe when life made them feel invisible. They said your smile was the last light they saw before everything around them went dark. And even though you didn't know it, that moment became a memory they carried like a treasure. Heaven allowed those words to reach you now, so that you could understand the true power of your presence. This was never about flattery. It was about truth and healing. The angels want you to know that the light within you has saved others in ways you cannot imagine. Someone out there once felt broken and unseen, and your simple smile gave them hope. You didn't have to speak or perform. You simply existed with grace. And that was enough to awaken love again in another soul. That is your gift, your quiet, natural, sacred gift. And this Sunday, Heaven decided to show you that your light has never gone unnoticed. The person who spoke those words is part of a larger plan to remind you that your love mattered then, and it still matters now. You may have been carrying questions in your heart, wondering if anyone ever truly understood the depth of your care, wondering if your kindness made a difference. Heaven answers you now. Yes, it did. You were not forgotten. The light you gave was never lost. It is returning to you in new forms, through words, through gestures, through signs from heaven. You are stepping into a season of recognition, not for ego, but for confirmation. Heaven wants you to see yourself as they see you, radiant, pure, chosen, and deeply loved. The angels say that your silence has spoken louder than any words ever could. Your stillness has been your prayer. Your patience has been your power. Your smile has been your message. It carried a vibration that awakened something holy in others. That is why heaven protected you during times when you felt unseen. You were not hidden out of neglect. You were hidden for divine timing. Heaven was waiting for the right season to reveal your light to the world again. And now, that time has come. The one who spoke of you this Sunday might not fully understand why they did, but their soul knows. Deep inside, something awakened. A truth they had buried rose to the surface. Perhaps they didn't mean for anyone to hear, but heaven made sure the words reached you. They said what they once couldn't admit, that your smile was the light that reminded them they were not alone. And though they still carry their own pain, their spirit could no longer remain silent. Their words were not planned. They were released from the heart, and heaven carried them to your ears. You see, dear soul, heaven moves through the simplest of things. A single comment can become a divine message. A casual remark can hold a sacred meaning. This Sunday was heaven's way of showing you that the unseen connections you've built are now being brought into the light. The truth about your love and your impact is rising. This isn't the end of a story. It's the beginning of healing for both you and those whose lives you've touched. The angels want you to understand this clearly. Your smile is not remembered for its beauty, but for its soul. It carries the story of everything you've survived, the heartbreaks you endured, the kindness you maintained, the faith you held when hope felt far away. It holds the energy of grace. That's why it's unforgettable. When others think of you, they don't remember a simple expression. They remember the peace it carried, the healing it offered, the safety it gave. Heaven says it's time to release the belief that you went unseen. The truth is now unfolding in ways that only the divine could arrange. More people will remember you. More hearts will speak your name in gratitude. More souls will find the courage to confess the truth they once buried. You are not being praised by chance. You are being acknowledged by divine design. The love you gave in silence is returning as a wave of remembrance, and each word spoken about you carries heaven's seal. This message is not just for comfort. It is a reminder of your purpose. You were born to remind the world that light still exists. Your smile carries that light. It is your divine signature, your way of speaking without words. And now, heaven has decided it is time for the world to see what they once overlooked. The veils are lifting. The truths are surfacing. The hearts you touched are awakening. So, dear child, when you hear that someone spoke of your smile, don't dismiss it as something small. Know that it was heaven's way of touching your heart and saying, "We saw you. We saw every moment you gave light when you had none left. We saw every time you chose love when others chose silence." The angels want you to hold your head high and open your heart again. You are walking into a season of restoration. The love you once poured into others will return multiplied. The words you longed to hear will come. The recognition you thought would never arrive will appear, softly and beautifully, just like this Sunday's message did. Let this truth settle deep within you. You are not invisible. You never were. You were sacredly hidden until now. Heaven has always known your worth, even when the world couldn't see it. And now, heaven is revealing it piece by piece, through whispers, through confessions, through unexpected reminders that you are loved and remembered. When you think of that person who spoke of you this Sunday, send them light. Forgive what was never said before. Understand that their words were not meant just for you. They were meant for healing, for both souls. You help them find their way back to their heart, and in doing so, heaven now brings that light back to yours. So receive this message. Dear one, let your heart soften. Let your faith expand. You are being reminded of your divine identity. You are not the one who goes unseen. You are the one heaven keeps in sight. And every smile you give, every act of love you share, continues to ripple through hearts long after you've left the room. That is your legacy. The angels close this message with peace in their wings and light in their words. They whisper, you were seen, you were felt, you were remembered. Your smile carried truth, even in sorrow, and your light was their safe place. Heaven has spoken. You are loved beyond measure, and the world is finally beginning to remember what heaven has always known. You are light in human form, heaven's whisper, the smile that opened a sacred door. Dear child, something sacred was released into the air this past Sunday. Something gentle but powerful. Something that heaven itself noticed and blessed. It wasn't during a planned moment, nor in a public setting made for praise or attention. It happened quietly, through a conversation you weren't even part of. But that simple, private exchange became a doorway through which divine truth flowed like light. Someone spoke about you, about your smile, and even though they didn't realize it at first, their words carried spiritual meaning. They said your smile felt like the beginning of something new, a feeling of peace, safety, and realness that is rare in this world. They said it in a tone that even surprised them, as if it came from a deep place in their heart they had long kept silent. Heaven heard those words and smiled, because the timing was not random. The divine allowed this truth to be spoken exactly when your soul was ready to hear it, right before a great shift in your life. That conversation was the sound of a seed breaking open beneath the surface, a seed that had been planted through all the love, kindness, and faith you've shown through the years. Your smile, which others may have seen as small or ordinary, has always been sacred. It wasn't just a reflex or a habit. It was a prayer. Each time you smiled through pain, confusion, or loneliness, you were saying to heaven, I still believe. And heaven remembered every silent act of love, every moment of grace, every time you smiled when your heart was tired. All of it was recorded in the divine heart. So when this person spoke about your smile on Sunday, they were unknowingly becoming a messenger for heaven. Their words opened a door that had long been waiting to open, a spiritual gateway through which blessings are now beginning to flow back to you. Heaven has chosen this moment to remind you that nothing you gave was wasted. Your patience, your gentleness, your ability to forgive and keep shining even in the dark, all of it is returning to you now in new forms of stability, love, and peace. The one who spoke about your smile may not fully understand what they said or why they said it, but heaven does. Their words were not just admiration, they were confirmation. They confirmed that what you offered in the past mattered, that your love left a permanent mark on the soul who received it. They realized that your smile carried healing, calm, and strength, the kind that reaches beyond appearances and touches the deepest part of a heart. Through that confession, even if whispered, the spiritual energy around you began to shift. The angels are rejoicing because what you gave in silence has now been recognized, and recognition always precedes reward. Dear heart, heaven wants you to know that your time of waiting is ending. The seeds you planted through kindness and faith are breaking through the soil. That conversation about your smile wasn't random. It was the first bloom of your harvest. The person who remembered you was guided to speak, not because of nostalgia, but because their spirit could no longer keep quiet about the truth. They were moved to honor something sacred in you, and in doing so, they helped activate the next chapter of your destiny. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust that the divine is aligning events in your favor. For so long, you gave love without asking for anything in return. You smiled when your spirit was weary. You carried light through storms and shared it freely with others. Heaven saw every bit of it. That is why, now, blessings are being poured back into your life. The words spoken about your smile were not just memories. They were a sign that your energy is being remembered, honored, and multiplied. You are entering a season where people, opportunities, and experiences that match your light will begin finding their way to you. This Sunday's confession was not about the past. It was about destiny. Heaven needed you to know that the love you gave was never forgotten. Your smile, your softness, your quiet strength, they were never overlooked. The person who spoke may not return in the same form, but they have already served their purpose. Their memory of you became a key that unlocked divine timing. Because of that, heaven is now sending new love, new peace, and new stability your way. You will no longer have to build everything alone. The angels are surrounding you with people who will meet you at your depth and honor your heart. What was said about you is still echoing in higher realms. It is moving energy, clearing old blocks, and aligning your life with new blessings. You are no longer unseen. Dear one, the silence that once surrounded your story is now being broken. Heaven is saying, your harvest time has come. So if your spirit feels this truth, claim it. Say to yourself, my smile opened a sacred door. Speak it with faith, because your light is now calling in miracles. Every sacred moment happens for a reason, and this one is no exception. The person who spoke about you wasn't giving a simple compliment. They were confessing something they had carried for a long time. They had been silent because they were afraid of change, afraid of vulnerability, or perhaps afraid to face how deeply they were touched by your presence. But their soul could not hide the truth any longer. The moment they said your name, the heavens stirred. They realized that your smile was more than beauty. It was healing. It had once reminded them that goodness still existed, that life still held softness even after pain. And when they finally spoke of it, even quietly, their spirit began to awaken. The angels described that moment as a trumpet sounding in the unseen realm, because when someone finally speaks truth after years of silence, heaven listens closely. That was the moment when divine timing began to unfold, and everything you had sown in love started to rise. You may not have heard those words firsthand, but the vibration reached you because it was meant for your soul. You have always carried this ability, dear one, to awaken others without trying. Your light reminds people of who they truly are. It softens them, humbles them, heals them. Yet, because of that gift, you have often been misunderstood. Some could not stay because your presence made them face truths they weren't ready for. Some remembered you only after you were gone. Heaven knows how deeply that has hurt you. But the angels want you to understand that every misunderstanding, every delayed recognition, was part of divine preparation. The world is now catching up to what heaven has always known about you. The one who spoke of your smile this Sunday has reached a turning point. They are finally awakening to the depth of what they felt for you. Their heart, once guarded, is opening. Their soul, once asleep, is beginning to remember. But more importantly, this awakening is a reflection of your own inner transformation. As they remember your light, heaven mirrors that light back to you, showing you how far you've come. You are no longer waiting for others to define your worth. You are now walking in the truth of who you've always been, a child of divine love, radiant and whole. The angels have watched your journey with deep compassion. They have seen you give light even when the world gave you shadows. They have seen you smile through tears and forgive what was hard to forgive. And now, they are sending signs that your season of hiddenness is ending. What you built quietly is about to become visible. The world will begin to recognize the purity of your heart, the strength behind your gentleness, and the truth in your smile. The one who spoke this Sunday may have done so casually, but heaven took it seriously. Their words were the signal that your spiritual reward was ready to manifest. Everything you've healed, every prayer you whispered, every time you refused to become bitter, those moments have built the foundation for this new phase. Heaven is saying, you have been faithful in the small things. Now, greater things will be added unto you. This Sunday's moment is also heaven's way of validating your journey. The one who mentioned your smile did not just admire your face. They recognized your soul. They saw in you what few truly see: strength wrapped in kindness, wisdom clothed in warmth. They sensed the peace you bring wherever you go. That realization changed them. And in that change, your next chapter was born. Heaven is stirring now. The winds of destiny are moving around you. Opportunities, recognition, love, and divine partnerships are being aligned. The work you've done in silence, the inner healing, the forgiveness, the growth, has brought you to a place of readiness. You've proven that your light isn't fragile. It's enduring. Your smile is not a mask. It's the evidence of victory. That is why heaven is now revealing what had been hidden, bringing into the open what has been long earned by your faith. The angels say this: you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right on time. The love you've given is returning multiplied. The energy you've poured out is now circling back in blessings. You will begin to feel it in conversations, opportunities, and moments of unexpected peace. The very light that once made others uncomfortable will now draw the right people toward you. The one who spoke of your smile may continue to think of you, perhaps even dream of you. But whether they come forward or not is no longer what defines your worth. Their remembrance was simply heaven's way of saying, we saw it all. You were never unseen. You were never unloved. The time for hiding has passed. And so, dear child, as heaven watches over you now, release the doubts that linger. Let go of the old fear that says love will only bring pain. Open your heart once again, because the love that is coming is safe, strong, and built on truth. You are stepping into a season where the foundations beneath you are solid and blessed. You will not have to build from nothing. You will build from strength. Heaven's prayer for you today is one of protection and peace. Beloved angels, place your wings around this soul. Guard their heart from deception, doubt, and fear. Let no false energy touch them. Transform every whisper of envy into silence and every shadow into light. May this child walk in grace and safety. May their smile remain a sign of hope, faith, and divine resilience. Let the doors of favor open wide before them. And so it is. Dear heart, this moment marks the beginning of something holy. The words spoken about your smile were a sacred signal from heaven that your new chapter has begun. What was once hidden is being revealed. What was once delayed is now arriving. Your smile, born from endurance, love, and faith, has become the key that unlocks divine timing. The angels are near, rejoicing over you. They say, "This one has waited long enough. Now it is time for joy." Let this message settle deeply within you. You are stepping into a life where you will be seen fully, loved deeply, and honored truthfully. Heaven's eyes are upon you. The same smile that once carried you through sorrow is now carrying you into promise. What you gave in faith is returning in abundance. The silence has broken. The harvest has begun. So hold your head high, beloved child. Smile again, not because you must, but because heaven has given you every reason to. Your smile has always been sacred. It opened the door to your next destiny. And now, heaven invites you to walk through it in peace.